Hello and what's up, IRL Pokemon Challenges fam? How you guys doing? We are back. It is 2026. Happy New Year. And this is going to basically be my channel's update video of the year and also kind of some goal setting because, hey, we made it to a new year. We've got a lot of big things planned. So I'm just going to have a bunch of timestamps down below if you want to jump ahead to certain things. But we're going to be diving into a bunch of my analytics as well as a few background projects that I think you guys will be interested in. I would love to hear your feedback because it's really going to help me tailor these as we go into 2026. And I have a lot of ideas planned. Some may work, some may not work. We'll just kind of have to see as we go. But the first things first, let's just make sure that everybody knows we're going to bang the table about this. I will officially be full-time on YouTube from April of this year. 2026 is going to be the year that I am making more content than ever, and I'm super excited for it because it obviously means not just RBY Pokemon Challenges and GSC Pokemon Challenges, we are going to have RSE Pokemon Challenges. That is quickly incoming, and so for me, the name of the game this year is going to be, number one, trying to be consistent with my uploads, and number two, trying to build more and more on the community that we already have. So there's going to be a bunch of community things that I'm talking about later on, especially ways that you can get directly involved in helping me as I'm making more content this year. I want to know your guys' thoughts and opinions. There's going to be some ways for you to share that and engage in that with me. So that's what I'm super excited for. But before we break down all those new projects, let's first look back at 2025. I'm going to compare it to previous years so that you guys can just kind of see how the channels have grown. This is as much for me just to look back and kind of reminisce and be like, oh, look how much I've improved over the past few years, as it is for you guys to just kind of see, hey, this is the background of what actually happens here when I'm analyzing my channels and thinking about what my plans are going forward. Now, I will quickly preface this by saying that I know a lot of creators do not share their back-end data, especially their revenue data, because number one, it could cause some people to just hate in the comments. But I mean, if you do, go ahead because, hey, engagement for the algorithm, but it can also lead to situations where people become kind of targets. So I'm definitely going to be very careful about my security over here, much more careful than Billy Boy is with letting people use his PC. Remember to always use a VPN. But with that out of the way, let's just take a little stroll down memory lane, and we're going to start here with RBY Pokemon Challenges because I want to kind of break down how we've actually performed, but I think it's best to actually go through the past several years just so that you guys can kind of see how we've done. And because this is the first time that I've done like a detailed breakdown video of my channels on YouTube, I figure let's go all the way back to the beginning. I started RBY Pokemon Challenges, my first channel, back on August 17th of 2021. And we can see that in 2021, I got a grand total of 1,063 views. And of those 1,063 views, there was not a whole lot of watch time, and there were very, very few subscribers. Definitely left me wondering what I was doing. And even some of these subscribers, I was trying to do like sub for sub stuff back then. Oh, it's terrible. Look at that swing. Basically, the moral of the story, children, do not try to do sub for sub. It's stupid. But we can then see that views never really were much of a thing back then. Like, I think I peaked at 61 views in a single day, and probably half of these views were just from me trying to play my own videos. Oh, how far we've come. If we pop ahead to 2022, this is the year that I actually started taking off on YouTube, and we can see immediately that the numbers are going to go up quite a bit. You see, my channel actually managed to get monetized right here in April of 2022. After continuing to basically get no views for the first part of the year, this was where I posted the absolutely legendary J-Rose Refused This Solo Challenge video for April Fools that actually took till like April 6th for anybody to start watching it. And then it absolutely took off. And that was when I actually hit all of the metrics that I needed to get monetized on YouTube. That's one of the biggest things. If you're a small content creator, just keep making content because you just never know when this spike is going to happen, and it just completely changes everything for you. But with that being said, 2022 is my first full year ever making content on YouTube. I managed to get 182,000 views, about 50K watch hours. We popped up to about 2.3 thousand subscribers, and that year I made a total of about $1,400. So something around like $8 to $9 per thousand views back at that time, which of course brings us to 2023, my third year making content on YouTube, where we went up massively from there. We had a very, very slow start to the year, but this is where I did the legendary Mewpoo versus Godcarp video that absolutely popped up my channel yet again. So we went from barely getting like 100, 200 views per week here to getting thousands and thousands of views, ultimately ending at 666.8 thousand views. Though 666 is a little scary, but we went from getting like 50K watch hours to over 270K watch hours, added 6,000 subscribers that year, and made a total of $8,044 here on RBBY Pokemon challenges. So really not too shabby at that point. And then came 2024, which in a lot of ways was much better than 2023, eclipsing 770,000 views, still getting similar amounts of watch time and adding 4K subscribers, but making a significantly larger amount of money from YouTube overall, in spite of the fact that I had this huge hiatus when my son was born and we once again started the year kind of slow. We had my two biggest videos of all time at this time, which were my 255 base stats Weedle run and my 255 base stats Mewtwo run. This Weedle video is still to this day the best performing video that I've ever put out on YouTube in terms of total views. But in general, I mean, that year had a lot of bangers for me. So it was a super solid year in spite of the fact that I took a long time off. But that finally brings us to 2025, where we once again managed to outperform basically everything except subscriber growth compared to 2024. We had more views, more watch time, and more earnings, even though we never had a video that even came close to that Weedle video. The best performer of last year was the Gen 1 with competitive movesets video, followed up by level 255 Mewtwo and level 255 Weedle. You guys are gonna have to tell me why you guys love those sorts of like OP formats so much. And then we had Ash's Pikachu in that 255 base stats Weedle actually came in number 5 for me last year. It actually was the 5th best performer on the channel in spite of the fact that it was from the previous year. But overall, once again, a pretty solid year overall. You will notice a few things though if you look at this graph. One is this is the viewpocalypse that happened last year. You probably heard a bunch of YouTubers talk about this, where views just like suddenly tanked on YouTube, and it was kind of a panic moment for everybody. But the best indication that we have is that it was probably due to ad blockers, and that YouTube didn't actually change too much in the background. Earnings pretty much stayed flat in spite of the fact that views tanked off significantly. So at the end of the day, it didn't really affect me that much, but we will be keeping an eye on this sort of situation as we go into next year. Still, that does it for RBBY Pokemon Challenges. Overall, pretty good performance, but let's check in on GSC Pokemon Challenges and see if he can actually stack up to what RBBY did. Now, once again, in the interest of nostalgia, I'm going to take a little walk down memory lane with GSC Pokemon Challenges and show you guys from the beginning. I started GSC Pokemon Challenges in the summer of 2023. It was right at the same time that I did that Mewpoo Godcarp run on RBBY Pokemon Challenges that kind of made that channel take off. So this was just kind of a side project at the time to get used to Gen 2. And we can see early on it was very, very slow going, but that was kind of the point. I started this channel without telling anybody that I was doing another channel, specifically so that I could kind of test and just make sure that I actually had skill enough to build another channel, at least within a space series that I could kind of understand, and ultimately we did pretty well. Unlike RBY Pokemon challenges that got like 1,000 views its first year, GSC Pokemon challenges was far better, getting 50k views in its very first year, over 21,000 watch hours, adding 1.6k subscribers, and getting monetized within like 3 months or something like that. So we actually made $419 in the first year of GSC Pokemon challenges. Fast forward to 2024, which was the first full year of me doing GSC, and yes, it included the long hiatus after my baby boy was born. We still did pretty darn well. 133,000 views, 68k watch hours, added another 1,000 subs, and made $2,084 from the channel. A very large portion of GSC's earnings, especially at this time, was coming from channel members, which was insane. During this period of time right here, when my baby boy was born, it was really a discussion in my family, in my household, of whether I should quit doing YouTube so much and get another part-time job, or if I should just keep doing YouTube and stay at home with my baby boy and my wife. And it was thanks to the channel members that I was able to win that fight with my wife and say, I'm gonna stay home. And the extra 2k definitely helped. When you put that together with what we made on RBY that year, it was about 10k, almost 11k from YouTube, which was massive. It was absolutely massive because it was the difference between me having to get that part-time job and being able to keep doing YouTube as my main side hustle. But then we get to 2025 with GSC Pokemon challenges, and we doubled everything. We didn't quite double views, but we definitely did much better. With 173k, we got up to almost 100,000 watch hours. We added another 1.3k subscribers, and earnings basically doubled. And unlike RBY Pokemon challenges, like, you see a little bit of a dip down from the Viewpocalypse, but it wasn't nearly as strong here on GSC Pokemon challenges as it was on RBY, partially because it's a smaller channel, partially because I think the GSC community is a little more dedicated than the RBY community. I said it. Of course, we've got the minimum battles series, etc., which kept people coming back. In fact, it's kind of interesting to look at the community here on GSC Pokemon challenges, because there's this really big segregation where it's almost even thirds between new viewers, casual viewers, and regular viewers on this channel. But when you look at the videos that they watch, the new viewers all watch solo run content. Casuals also just watch solo run content. The regulars are the ones coming in watching the minimum battles series, making some of those their biggest videos of the entire year. So one of the reasons I think that the Viewpocalypse didn't affect GSC as much is because the regular viewers, they're watching these super long minimum battles series videos that I do, which just kind of kept everything stable. Whereas RBY doesn't have a series like that right now, so there's nothing that keeps the same people coming back week in and week out. Maybe something that RBY can learn from GSC as he goes forward. But ultimately, what this all means is just that GSC grew pretty significantly last year. RBY grew a little bit, but was much more consistent last year. And these two together, plus the fact that I'm starting RSC Pokemon challenges, plus the fact that I can justify to my wife not working because I'm working on my master's degree, have all coalesced into a situation where I can actually go full-time on YouTube next year. You might be asking, how can you go full-time with such a paltry amount of income? That will be for another video. But the point is that ultimately, I think I'm going to be able to make it work, and I'm going to break that down in a lot more detail in the future. But with all of that being done, and now that everybody can see my numbers and either laugh at me in the comments or say damn in the comments, let's talk about what is actually going to be happening this year. And we should really start here on the GSC Pokemon Challenges website. I have showed this in a few videos where, of course, it was originally made for member picks. and you can see our very kind members here with their supported Pokemon. Already 36 Pokemon have been saved so far, and up till now you've been able to view the available Pokemon here, where you can look at any Pokemon that you want that has failed in the minimum battle series. You can pop them up and see what available level up, TM, egg, move tutor, and prior evolution moves are available to them if you so choose to support a Pokemon on the channel. And then of course the channel members are able to sign in and send their picks. I have been working on adding this login with the Google setup, which is a little bit sus still because this app is not fully verified. That's something that I'm still working on. So you may get an error sort of thing when you try to log in, but these two features have been here since the website was made. However, there are some new things coming in. Of course, I have added the ability to actually watch the minimum battles series here, where of course you can watch by each of the gym sections that we've done so far. But something that I've added here is the ability to search specific Pokemon. And when you come to the website and you look here, it will tell you the exact episodes and the exact timestamps that each Pokemon appeared in. Now, I haven't gotten all of the timestamps put into the old Faulkner minimum battles videos. That is still an ongoing project, but once those are done, they will pop up here too. But basically, now when you load up this Bugsy minimum battles series video and hit play, you can jump straight to the Pokemon that you just searched, meaning that it is now a way that you can effectively search any Pokemon in the minimum battle series and see all of their segments so far. In fact, it's even set up where once you watch through this whole section, it will just automatically go to the next video in the playlist, assuming that you want to continue watching that Pokemon. On top of that, there's a downloads and resources section that is under construction right now, but it is in the plans to add in different things. I'm going to be adding in some overlay related tools, ROM hacks, challenge data, just other helpful resources will all be getting linked right here. Once that is ready to go, I will notify you guys. But the biggest thing that I'm excited for this year is adding on a centralized way for you guys to actually send me challenge requests. One of the biggest problems that I've had on YouTube is that I get so many comments that people will send me a challenge request in the comment section of a video, and I literally cannot find it after the fact. And I might remember the idea for the video, but I won't remember who sent it to me, so I can't give proper thanks to those people. And I just felt like it's something where for the community, it might be better if we just had a centralized way to keep them all organized. Everybody can see what has been requested, what I'm currently working on, and hopefully it will be a way that we can engage even more in the community. Here we can already see that GSC Pokemon Challenges channel member Redeemed Steve has already put in the very first challenge request since I have opened up this functionality, where he is requesting a Steel types only with stab moves team challenge. And it is one that I have accepted, so I will be working on this in the near future to post on GSC Pokemon Challenges. With that being said, this is currently on a GSC site. There will be a separate version for RBY. I will get that posted up fairly soon for you guys. But the idea is basically to make this open in this format and everything gets stored nicely in a database so that nothing gets buried in the YouTube comments. So just be aware that if you ask me to do a particular challenge this year, I may respond to you with a link saying put it into the list. And this is how you will do it. Now, for the challenge requests, I do have a few rules associated with them, so I figured that I will at least break them down very quickly right here. I am accepting challenge requests from people who are public YouTube subscribers, people who are channel members, of course, and from people who are active Discord members. So basically, if you want to make a challenge request, I'm already signed in with Google here, but if I sign out, channel members can either verify with their channel URL or they can sign in with a Google account that is associated with their YouTube channel, and channel members will get a boost to their challenge requests in list just because, hey, they support me massively and it's my way of saying thank you. But you do not have to pay anything in order to make challenge requests. If you are a YouTube subscriber, you can simply log in with your Google account here, in which case, as long as you are a public subscriber of GSC Pokemon Challenges, which fortunately GSC subscribes to himself, so it works out. But if you don't like authenticating through Google, the other way is to sign in with Discord, where you simply authorize Discord to share your credentials to allow you to log in, which yet again will allow you to access this functionality. The reason I'm doing this is just because I don't want like some random bot or something coming here and just spamming the form with a bunch of requests and like messing up my database or something. So just take that for what you will. Now, once you get yourself signed in, you will see that you are allowed to make up to 3 challenge requests in a rolling 90-day period. So technically it's 1 challenge request per month, just trying to balance out between people being able to make requests and not being too limited, with not having one person spam like 50 requests and not letting anybody else use it. And then every challenge request does have a score associated with it. They all start with a base 100 score. You get bonus points if you are a member. Yes, if you make a donation, you can get bonus points, but I haven't made the donations too OP. This is not a pay to win or pay to play sort of thing. And basically after that, all you do, you type your title for your challenge. You can choose the Pokemon that you want. So if you want a Pikachu challenge, you just type it right in there and get that Pikachu in there, and then write about your special rules or requirements for the challenge. Yes, again, you can boost things with an optional donation. They do not add a ton of points. I have not tried to make this super OP by any means here, but of course, if you do donate, it is very much appreciated. And then the only other thing is that if you donate over 20 bucks, then you can make extra challenge requests. So take that for what you will. But after you have put all of that in, you can go ahead and submit your challenge request. So for example, I might put in my RBY Pikachu in GSC and tell GSC Pokemon Challenges to make a video about why RBY is better than GSC, and I can go ahead and say submit request. Now, when you submit your request, you're agreeing to a bunch of things, so just keep this in mind. The biggest things are that I reserve the right to reject any challenge request for any reason. There is no guaranteed time frame for doing your challenge request. Just because you put it in does not mean that I will do it like this week or something like that. And donations do not guarantee that I will do your challenge request. If you have an inappropriate request, anything indecent, harassing, or just generally unpleasant, or if you are like spamming donations and then charging back, you will get banned. Those are the rules and they are at my discretion, so just take that for what you will. If you have a ban, you will have an opportunity to appeal and we will let the community weigh in on whether or not you should be allowed back. But with that being done, you can submit your challenge request. Now, one thing that's important to note here is that when you submit, it will say pending approval. It will only appear in the list after I have manually reviewed it and added it to the list, which may take a couple days. So just bear with me, especially because I'm here in Japan, so I might be sleeping when you put it in. Anyway, with that being done, you can now make your requests and you are good to go. If you have any questions about challenge requests, just go further down to the bottom of the page and there's an entire write-up and kind of FAQ about how this works and what the rules are in more detail. Probably the biggest thing that most people will want to see is here the important notes about reasons why I may reject your request. And if you are considering any sort of donation, I encourage you to send me an email via this little link right here. You can just simply type in your email, type in your message, and it will fly off in the internet to me so that I can review and get back to you. If you have really any sort of question, just send it to me via the email link right here. And finally, this is not for a sponsorship. You cannot sponsor me through this. If you're a company, talk to me in another way. But if you are a fellow YouTuber, PokeTuber, somebody who does creative things, maybe you make deviant art, fan art of Pokemon, anything, feel free to throw your socials in here. I will be more than happy to shout you out when I shout you out in the video. But my hope is that hopefully this is going to let me do a lot more content in 2026 that you guys want to see. And it's just one piece of what I'm hoping to build in community-based challenges this year. Now, it's worth noting that all of the features that I'm showing, I'm also working on a Discord integration for right now. I was actually working on the Discord bot earlier today. Hopefully that will be launched in the near future, and there will be a new GSC Pokemon Challenges Discord. But like I said, I'll probably be making very similar things for RBY and RSE Pokemon Challenges this year as well, so that you guys can get on the action there. And we're just going to basically use it so that we can keep everything nice, neat, and organized. It's also kind of nice for me if I'm just starting my day to be able to see, oh, hey, there's some challenge requests. Maybe I'll work on that one today. So hopefully that will be fun for you guys and fun for me, but that's going to be a big part of my plans in 2026. Now, the other thing that's worth noting is that I currently have a Twitch page that has literally nothing on it because I've never streamed on Twitch, but I am planning to add on Twitch and YouTube multi-streaming in this year. I'm going to be testing out to see just how it goes, especially because I've never been on Twitch before, but I do think that it's worthwhile to at least investigate diversifying platforms a little bit, especially because I know that there are a lot of people who only watch on YouTube. There are probably a few people who might tune in on Twitch, so I just kind of want to see how it goes. Maybe it will be worthwhile, maybe it won't, but it's going to be part of my testing this year. But again, I'd really like to hear how many of you are actually viewers over on Twitch and would consider popping over there to watch a live stream if I were over there. And last but not least, of course, 2026 is going to be the year that we start RSE Pokemon Challenges. I'm really excited for this. I have not yet done my first runs. I will be doing them this weekend. So hopefully we'll have the first video by the end of January. That is my hopes. We'll see if it actually works out that way. But RSE Pokemon Challenges is officially entering the chat, guys. So if you have not already, consider going over there and subscribing. Though, of course, we should make him earn his stripes a little bit before he gets to really try to challenge RBY or GSC Pokemon Challenges. But who knows? He might turn out to be the best Pokemon Challenges channel of all. But I'm just really excited to see how we do in 2026. We're going to have a lot of time to hang out, live stream, do some of your guys' challenge requests, do new generations, maybe dive into some remakes, get into a lot more ROM hacks for the year. I think we're going to have a really, really awesome 2026. So I hope you guys will ride with me for it. Let's run it up and see if it can be even better than the year before. But with that, I will see you in the next one. Later.